Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Mel and today we've got to talk about my priority sci-fi TBR. One of my goals for 2023 is to read more sci-fi. I think my top 2 or 3 books of the year last year were all sci-fi books, and while I still read a lot of fantasy and probably will always read primarily fantasy, those are some stats that mean I really need to get on the sci-fi train. I want to find more books that I love and I want to learn what exactly do I love in sci-fi. So I've compiled a list of books that I own that I'm really interested in reading, as well as a couple that I've just kind of found online talked about that sounded interesting to me, and I think there are 15 of them, so let's jump into the video. The first is Lost in Time by A.G. Riddle. This is one that I got from the Goldsboro subscription. I believe it is a sci-fi involving time travel and dinosaurs. It says, at opposite ends of time, a father and a daughter have just 201 million years to save their family and humanity. Love, murder, betrayal, multiple universes, and dinosaurs. One of the twistiest time tales that I've ever read. It sounds really good. I'm very interested in this one. Something about dinosaurs and time travel just sounds right up my alley, so I've got to get to this one. Plus, it's just really pretty, so I would say you can't go wrong with a pretty book, but that's been known to happen. Okay, and next up we have Always Been Here. This is one that I just recently picked up in a Barnes & Noble buy one get one sale, and I've never heard of it before, but I did find it on a list of sci-fi horror, which makes me even more interested to read it. I believe this is a first contact sci-fi, and that is something that I'm really wanting to read more of. So this is following a woman that is on a ship, and her job is to observe the 13 other people that are trying to figure out how to colonize this icy planet. And apparently there's some kind of radiation storm that isolates them from everybody. They can't communicate, and slowly people start to go insane. The androids are acting really weird, and chaos ensues. I am super excited to give this one a try. Next up, we have one that really intimidates me, and that is Revelation Space by Alistair Reynolds. I actually started reading this one and got like 6 pages in, and it's really dense, and so I put it down. But Alistair Reynolds is a name in sci-fi that I hear all the time, and so I know that I definitely need to give some of his books a try. I believe this is his debut novel, and it is about a man who will journey across space and time, and he has a single-minded quest for truth. Something annihilated the Amersham civilization just as they were on the verge of discovering spaceflight, but one scientist will stop at nothing to solve the mystery of the ancient civilization's disappearance. But the civilization was destroyed for a reason, and once that reason is uncovered, the universe and reality itself could become irrevocably altered. It sounds like an epic sci-fi. I'm assuming there's like some space battle type stuff in here, and I want to give it a try. I think I'm going to need the audiobook for this one, but I'm excited to read it. Next up, we have one that I was sent by Orbit, and that is The Undying Stars by Emery Robin. This, I believe, is a Cleopatra retelling in space, and that just sounds really interesting to me. I think Emma and I may end up buddy reading this one, but it is about loyalty, legacy, and betrayal. A princess has lost everything, and after a bloody civil war, she and her twin sister has claimed the crown of their planet. It's about a princess who has lost everything, and after the war, her twin sister has claimed the crown and the planet. But when there is an interstellar war and a warring, I believe, empire sets its eyes on another empire, she sees her opportunity to regain her planet. But in order to do this, she has to place herself and the hands of the empire into a commander. But winning over this commander is no easy feat, and in trying to secure her sovereignty and her planet's future, she's going to find herself torn between the new commander's ambitions and her unpredictable desires. I'm wondering if this has a touch of romance in it after just kind of reading the blurb on this one, but I'm really interested in it. It sounds good. It's quite big, but honestly, all of these are, so apparently there's just something about sci-fi that's junky. Next up, we have Velocity Weapon by Megan O'Keefe. I am so excited to read this book. I read the first chapter for a try a chapter tag and absolutely loved it, and I don't know why I haven't picked this up yet. I believe it is about a captain who wakes up in a ship and an AI starts talking to her, and she realizes that her entire planet and everyone has been destroyed and there's no one around for her to talk to. This is a 30 or 4 book series, I believe, and I've heard some really, really good things about it. She's got a new book coming out later this year, and so I want to get on this series so that I can then pick up the new release. Next up, we have The First Sister by Lyndon A. Lewis. This is one that I've actually heard Riley Marie talk about before that she really enjoyed. I want to say it might be sapphic, and it is about a, I think, woman who has no name, no voice, and no agency. The sisterhood forced her into a role of comfort for soldiers on Earth and Mars, and they now own the rights to her body and her soul, but no more, because this is her story. It's part high-flying space opera, part twisty, compelling drama, and part topical social commentary. So I don't know, I'm curious about it. I've owned it for forever. I'm not sure how I feel about the social commentary part, because while I want books to talk about things that are relevant in a new and interesting way, I don't like ones that tend to kind of shove a certain ideal at the reader. I want to be able to weave it into the story and not feel like I am being fed a political agenda, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't matter if it's something I believe or don't believe. And so I'm a little nervous about the social commentary part, but I'm still excited to read it, and hopefully I love it. This is one of the few that's actually not huge. And then the last of the ones that I own is The Helm of Midnight by Maria Lassiter. Yeah, Marina Lassiter. This is a, I believe, a murder mystery sci-fi, and I had it on my shelves for forever. There is no excuse for me not to have read it. It's about a serial killer that stalks the streets and is shrouded in darkness. And it is a deadly heist. There are thieves. It sounds great. Like, I don't know why I have not picked this up yet, because that sounds incredible. Okay, so I think those are all of the ones that I own. Now let's jump into the couple that I don't own but really want to read. Oh, I lied. There's one more. I do want to get to the classic Foundation by Asimov. This is one of the really short ones that is kind of the pinnacle of sci-fi. I think there is a TV show on it now. I don't remember where it's at, but I have been wanting to get to this one. It's kind of a honorable mention on this list, but definitely at the top. Next up, we have Dark Dweller by Gareth Worthington. This is one that I believe came out, it's coming out on February 28th of this year, and it sounds really good. It's about a captain that was pronounced dead when her spaceship slammed into Jupiter, but then how many years later, more than a century later, they find a young girl who claims to be this pirate, and she's bringing a message of doom. She says she's been waiting in the dark for that exact moment, and she's tasked with the sacred responsibility. She claims she must alter the fulcrum. And she sounds convincing, and she may very well be insane. I think that that is such a interesting way to describe the book, that this person that is telling you something that is going to end the world, she might be a little crazy. We might not believe her. I'm very, very excited for this one, and I hope it lives up to the hype. Next up, we have Paradise 1 by David Wellington. This one is also a upcoming release. It's released on April 4th of 2023, and it is about a special agent and a doctor who are woken up from a cryogenic sleep with the ship's alarm blaring in the background. They know that something is wrong, and they're warned by the captain that they are under attack, and they have no choice but to investigate, but soon they learn that they have been attacked by another vessel, and it is a vessel from Paradise 1, which is Earth's first deep space colony, and it's their final destination. And worse still, this vessel is completely empty, and it carries a message that all of the souls that were on Paradise Lost, or Paradise 1, have been lost. So this team must get on the Paradise 1 vessel, and they have to go to the planet to try to figure out what happened to everybody that was living there and why they all ended up dead. Sounds a little bit sci-fi, a little bit horror, a little bit murder mystery, and I'm really into it. Next up, we have a slightly shorter one, and that is A Halfbuilt Garden by Ruthanna Emrys. This one is set in 2083, where Judy wakes up to the warning of an unknown pollutant that's in the Chesapeake Bay. She heads out and expects to find a false alarm, but she stumbles upon the first alien visitors to Earth instead. And she is told by them that they are coming to save humanity, but if humanity doesn't want to be saved, they're going to force them to be saved anyway. So it sounds like a first contact where humanity and the aliens are going to have to kind of learn to work together and understand each other's cultures. I think I'm going to like this one. I like first contact stories, but we'll see if this one leans a little bit more, crap, what is that movie by Amy Adams that was really good about language? If it leans more that way, or if it is a little too philosophical for me, but I'm excited to give it a try. Next up, we have Last Exit by Max Gladstone, and it is about Zelda, who 10 years ago led a merry band of adventurers who are going around to different realities to try to battle back the rot that threatens to unmake each of these different worlds and realities. And it sounds like it has a focus on relationships, especially after one of their own is lost in the final mission. I'm interested in it. It sounds really cool about different realities. It's not a type of sci-fi that I read very often, but I'm excited to give it a go. Then we have a couple of like kind of classics that I really want to read. One is Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson. It's not really a classic, but it was published in 1992. And it says that in reality, Hero delivers pizza for Uncle Isno's Costo Nostra Pizza Incorporated, but in the metaverse, he is a warrior prince. So he goes plunging headlong into the enigma that is a new computer virus that's striking down hackers everywhere, and he races along neon-lit streets in search and destroy mission for the shadow virtual villain threatening to bring about the info apocalypse. It sounds kind of cool. I don't read a lot of video game type stories, but it's not something that I'm opposed to. It's just not something I've read a lot of. I was one of those few that did not read Ready Player One because the 80s nostalgia just didn't really call to me. So I'm interested in trying this one and see if it's something I like. And last but not least, we have Spin by Robert Charles Wilson. And this one's just a little long, so I'm going to read the blurb to you. One night in October when he was 10 years old, Tyler stood in his backyard and watched the stars go out. It was known as the Big Blackout, and it would shape their lives. It was in effect worldwide. The sun was then a featureless heat source rather than an astronomical object. The moon was gone, and not only have the world's artificial satellites fallen out of orbit, their recovered remains are pitted and aged as though they had been in space far longer than their known lifespans. Jason is now a promising young scientist, and he devotes his life to working against the slow-moving apocalypse. Earth sends terraforming machines to Mars, turning the planet green. Then they send humans and immediately get back an emissary with thousands of years of stories to tell about the settling of Mars. The Earth's probes reveal that an identical barrier has appeared around Mars. Jason, desperate, seeds near space with self-replicating machines that will scatter copies of themselves outward from the sun and report back on what they find. Life on Earth is about to get much, much stranger. Honestly, that blurb is confusing and really kind of weird, and I'm into it. I want to know about this weird stranger Earth, and I'm excited to read about it. Okay guys, so those are all of the sci-fis that I have got on my priority TBR. Let me know down in the comments which ones that you think I should prioritize and which ones I should get to first, or if there are any of these that you're like, nah girl, I've read that and you're not gonna like that. Just let me know, because I'm working off of blurbs here. But I'm excited to read more sci-fi in 2023. It is my year of sci-fi. So, without further ado, as always, links to my Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads are all in the description box down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you want, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!